Thank both of you for coming. You know, I think what's interesting about this hearing, Mr. McGovern, you've been kind of very critical of everything that's been going on here and about you need answers, and some of it we do need answers on. But the biggest, and you said things were outrageous and whatnot, you're, confused. What I'm confused about, you were elected to Congress in 1997, 28 years. You were chairman of this committee, the Rules Committee, from 2019 to 23. Now, if this is all of a sudden so important, when you as chairman, you had every right to bring up everything we're talking about now. What did we hear from you? Crickets. So that's the big confusion I have. And Representative Comer, the thing about political grandstanding, that's all this is.
Well, I didn't
and I don't
presidential campaign saying it was a release of Epstein files.
If I've got the floor, I'll recognize you, but we're not going to talk over each other. Have some decency. This is an anti-Trump. You're asking all these questions, who released Ghislaine Maxwell? When you had the opportunity, you didn't say one word. This is anti-Trump, and it's coming out for that. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. How many victims were interviewed today?
6.
And you think it's hundreds?
They said it was hundreds. Hundreds, like close to 1,000, but hundreds. It's what the attorneys for the victim, the attorneys were represented by 4, the victims were represented by 4 attorneys, and they said as many as 1,000.
Well, the process is moving forward. Right. We all know the discharge petition. And I don't mind having 2 tracks. But the bottom line is, Mr. McGovern knows it has to go to the Senate. I don't know what they'll do with it, but it's going to take time. You're not waiting on anything.
No.
You're moving forward.
We're moving forward.
And like Chairman Fox said, everything's going to get released. Now, let me ask you this. Are the flight logs public information? Who flew on the planes?
Is it? Okay. Some are, but the state subpoena should cover more of that.
We all know anybody that's, how far back would the flight logs, you can't alter a flight log. If you're flying on a plane, you can't.
Back to 1990.
Okay, 1990. We know people that were on that flight weren't going over there to have Bible studies.
Right.
They were doing other things. So we'll see, is your opinion, all the flight logs of whoever went, it doesn't matter. Right. That will be released.
Yeah. I mean, I want to know. I think everybody wants to know.
You hit it on the head, James. I mean, people want to know the names.
Yeah.
If a crime has been committed against thousands of women, young girls, this transcends politics. That's why I don't understand. The fact that you're politicizing this is not right. This transcends. This is young girls getting abused. So the fact that the flight logs will be released, we'll know the names of who flew over there. And then the public, I think that's the big name. If crimes have been committed, who did it?
Right.
And then let them face a trial, let
Absolutely.
them face a jury of peers. Now, I think Ms. Scanlon said the redactions by Attorney General Bondi contained things with President Trump. Now, what did you say, Representative Garcia? That was not right, correct?
I think, well, first, to be clear, I think the Attorney General herself has said that President Trump is in the Epstein files, to be clear. That's been reported. And as far as what redactions include the president, we don't have the files yet to know what those redactions actually are.
But when you get the files, both of you will ask the question, why were they redacted? Who did it? And as far as who put Ms. Maxwell in another prison, I assume that will come forward.
Well, and to be clear, our request has been to redact the names of the victims. There shouldn't be circumstances, nor would we support redacting the names of the perpetrators or anyone that actually committed the harm. And so that would not be our expectation. And so we think the full release of the files is important to check that work, of course.
Okay. So so it's nothing with President Trump has been redacted to your knowledge of what's been released so far.
If anything with President Trump's name has been redacted, it has not been, it's not something that's been in anything new, it's not any new information. Okay. So that has not been presented to the public.
So this just further illustrates this is just a hatred of a president who has got support of 77 million people.
I mean, sir, I mean, it's the president that actually campaigned on releasing the full files when he was running. I mean, he had made this the central issue of one of the central issues of his campaign.
Aside from that, though, you had 4 years under the Biden administration. He was chairman of a committee. He could have brought it up day one. He didn't do it. So if all of a sudden the interest, to be honest, I'm glad it's coming out now. There's been a lot transpired with Ghislaine Maxwell, the death of, I don't even know, when did Epstein die?
2019, August.
2019. Okay, so a lot's happened over the 20 years of this. Well, thank you for what you're doing. I think that the public needs to know, as they do on most everything. There are a lot of questions of the government involvement in the shooting of President Trump. I mean, that's going to come out at some point, not only Butler, Pennsylvania, but the golf course. So is there anything you want to add to what Mr. Garcia or any?
No, I just think that, the subpoena covers everything. I mean, if there are flight logs with the estate, that'll fall under the subpoena. If there are questions about why Maxwell was moved from Florida to Texas, that'll fall under the DOJ subpoena. So we are moving forward, and the Department of Justice has been working with us to turn over those documents. It takes a long time to gather and transfer 34,000 pages, and we're hopeful there's more, and we'll look at that and then post it online as quick as we can.
Okay,
Mr. Norman,
thanks for
would
doing
you
that. I'd like
yield
to-
for a minute?
Pardon me?
Would you yield for a minute?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll yield to you.
Sure. I just wanted to seek unanimous consent to put in the Newsweek article from August 1st of this year, so just last month, in which it talks about the fact that Trump's name was in the Jeffrey Epstein files and that 1,000 FBI agents were redacting those files to remove his name and others. So it's an August 1st, 2025 Newsweek report. It was also in Bloomberg and several other things, but I know we were on break, so you might have missed it. I yield.
Without objection.
So what she just said, y'all will be able to get into that, won't you? So you'll be able to answer every question. Now, Mr. McGovern, in fairness to you, you want to answer why, when you were chairman of this committee, you didn't bring up anything about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, I mean, one is I didn't campaign that I was going to release the Epstein files.
No.
Donald Trump made it into a big issue, and then we all expected it was going to be released, and then he decided at the last minute to change his mind, called people, said it was a big hoax, said Republicans were stupid for going along with it, and so those are his words. And by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell just got transferred like a month ago, so I wasn't chairman then. Of the committee.
No. Of 2019 to 2023, you were chairman.
I would have. Yeah, I mean, if people had brought to my attention that there was something there, I would have demanded that they be released.
The victims, no. That doesn't
Well, I mean,
hold
if the victims came to
That
us,
didn't
we
hold
would've-
water.
Yeah, but the victims want the files released, and Republicans have been frustrating that effort for months and months and months. And you even adjourned early to avoid having to vote on it.
That is not
so
true.
I want the truth out there. I want the files out there.
taking my time back. I'm reclaiming my time. The fact is, if you had all the interest that you do now, it's just because of Donald Trump. You had 4 years to do it as chairman of this committee. You've been in Congress 28 years. You and I both know the victims. This has been out that young girls have been victimized for the last 15 years, and you did nothing, which it shows you the hatred they have, and everything's political up here, particularly when it comes to Donald Trump. But the American people don't agree with you. Thank you, both of you, for testifying. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Norman.
During a House Rules Committee hearing on Tuesday, Representative Ralph Norman, RSC, criticized former Rules Committee Chairman Representative Jim McGovern, Democrat, Massachusetts, for not leading an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein earlier, despite having the authority to do so during his time as chairman from 2019 to 2023. Norman pointed out that McGovern had every opportunity to address the issue when he was in charge but did not take action, leaving many questions unanswered. Norman also accused McGovern and others of politicizing the investigation, claiming that the focus was now more about attacking former President Trump than seeking justice for the victims of Epstein's crimes. He expressed frustration with the political grandstanding, arguing that the investigation should focus solely on uncovering the truth about the victims and those involved in Epstein's actions, not on political agendas. The discussion shifted to the victims, with one attorney stating that as many as 1,000 victims could be involved, according to attorneys representing the victims. 4 attorneys had come forward to represent these victims during the hearing, highlighting the scale of the abuse. The committee was also confronted with questions about the public release of flight logs related to Epstein's planes, with Norman pressing for transparency on who had flown on those planes and what their involvement might have been. Another critical point in the discussion was the issue of redacted information in the Epstein files. There were concerns that the files, which were being made public, contained redactions that may have been used to hide important details, including the names of people like President Trump. McGovern, who had previously made statements about the files, was accused of not pushing for the release of these documents when he had the chance. Norman emphasized the need for full transparency, urging that the public should have access to all the details about who was involved in Epstein's network. He argued that those who committed crimes against the victims should face justice, regardless of political affiliation or stature. He also mentioned the transfer of Ghislaine Maxwell from one prison to another, which raised questions about the reasons behind the timing of the move and what it might signify for the ongoing investigation. A Newsweek article from August 1, 2025, was referenced during the hearing, which claimed that the FBI had redacted Trump's name from the Epstein files. This report added to the controversy surrounding the release of the documents, further fueling questions about what information had been hidden and why. The session ended with Norman reiterating that the focus of the investigation should be on the victims and the truth, rather than being overshadowed by political motives. He accused some members of using the investigation as a platform for personal political attacks, especially targeting Trump, and emphasized that the American people deserved to know the truth.